Hi, this is Dannii Minogue. You're inside the Sound Museum, hanging out with Leo.
Nights. Now, if you follow the show on your social media channels, which I hope you do, we've been celebrating Neon Nights all week by posting videos and photos, so I hope you've been enjoying those Neon Nights throwback moments. Now, for this bonus episode, we go back to June 2016 for my throwback interview with Dannii Minogue. Dannii came into the studio and we had a great chat about young talent time, her career, X Factor, all sorts of things. And at the time, Dannii was preparing for her live shows with Culture Club. Now, firstly, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast on your favourite podcast provider. That way you won't miss any future episodes like this one. So join me as we go back to June 2016. Here's my interview with the fabulous Dannii Minogue. My next guest, where do I start? She is a singer, songwriter, actress, TV and radio presenter, TV judge and mentor, fashion designer, and she's a mum. Since 1990, she's had more than 25 singles, 5 studio albums. She's the queen of the clubs, 14 number ones on the UK club dance chart. She's a gay icon. Welcome back home, Dannii Minogue.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Last time I saw you was at the Logies a few weeks ago, which is always a fun night. Does it take a while to get Minogue-fied for the red carpet?
I think any of those big events when you're, have people filming you and photographing you from 360, for about the next 6-7 hours. You need a couple of hours to get ready for it. And I think that's emotionally as well, not just the lip gloss.
Who would have thought that years ago when you were on Young Talent Time, it would ever be at the Logies on the red carpet? I mean, looking back now, going through that whole period, you're 7 years old on this huge TV show, but also it gave you, I guess, confidence, and you met some amazing people. What was that time like as a young girl doing this massive show and everyone knew who you were? And I mean, for a young girl at school, how did you get through that?
Well, the funniest thing is most people who are listening will be thinking, what the hell is Young Talent Time? Like, it was that long ago that it was, I guess, like the X Factor voice of the day, but instead of staying on it for one series, the kids who got chosen to be on it were for 6 years. So it was an amazing training ground if you think of what people learn in 10 weeks on X Factor live shows, and you saw the transformation of Dami Im coming into the show, and that's hardcore. That's like boot camp. Like, we really push them so much every week. We didn't, on Young Talent Time, have to be pushed, that hard, that fast. People weren't expecting so much of us. But it was a great training ground because I think that they had a lot of time and patience for people like me, who didn't really know what they were doing.
The outfits, there was on YouTube. I mean, most of us, fortunately, can hide away our daggy photos. But people like yourself, doll, that if you...
The daggy photos are all out there and continually recycled, and I guess
Does that frustrate you a bit?
No, I have, I think, more fun with them than anyone else. And a few years back when I went out to Channel 10, somebody said to me, the Young Talent Time, a lot of the costumes are still there.
Where was it?
I said, please take me, I want to have a look. And I said, can I take a couple of pieces from the wardrobe? And they said, yeah, sure. Luckily I did, because not long after that, everything was destroyed and cleared out of there. So I think the only pieces that are surviving are the ones that I took that are in my wardrobe. And they were fantastic days. And I guarantee you about once a year, my sister will bring it up in conversation about the kinds of sequins and the this and the that. It was like, as a kid, that was the show that you looked up to, even though everything was very lo-fi. But I think that was part of its charm. And whoever doesn't know about Young Talent Time, just Google now, or you go on YouTube, and you will find the clips and get ready to just scream.
Because when you left Young Talent Time, your final performance, I'll never forget it, was, you did, what's that song called?
How Do We Keep the Music Playing?
Yeah. And you're going, good night, Australia. Your Aussie accent, it was so cute.
Yeah.
But leaving that comfort zone of Young Talent Time and going, I guess, alone to the big wide world, you got a recording contract with Mushroom Records, and signing that contract and thinking, oh my God, I can film a video, I can travel the world. And
it was exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anything to happen after the show, because it didn't for most people who left the show. They just left and maybe worked in the industry but behind the scenes, and there were some ex-team members that were working with us when I was on it, and so I kind of expected that's what I was going to do. So to be offered this big, shiny, fun recording contract, and they said you're going to go and record songs in New York, was amazing. And so as a 17-year-old, I'm flown out to New York City. I'm living in Trump Tower on Central Park South on 59th. Had my own 2-bedroom apartment, and I was going into the Bronx every day to where the producers were and recording these songs. And then we moved into a studio downtown on Green Street, Soho, which is a really famous studio, and it's more rock and roll. And they're like, what is this little, Aussie girl doing here? It was fun. It was really fun.
And that debut album, of course, your debut singles, Love and Kisses, all of that one. But the second single, Success. Such a fun video, I have to say. And I've still got the 12-inch somewhere at home. Should we play it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go
Get
right
into
back.
it.
With me in studio is the gorgeous Dannii Minogue.
By the way, you look great when you're doing that Success routine. Oh. You know all the dance moves.
It's been a while, doll. I'll put a hip out, but anyway. But, I mean, that first album, because you got success here in Australia, but also in the UK. And a lot of the songs were sort of remixed for the UK, which is really cool. You got to record a few new tracks like Jump the Beat and Baby Love, and which is one of my favourite videos. You look great in the video.
Thank you.
That whole period and travelling overseas and taking your music outside Australia, that must have been really gratifying, because people didn't know you as Dannii, they didn't get your Young Talent Time.
Yeah, I guess I learnt a lot about music. I guess we're in a bubble in Australia, and what's really successful here is successful here. And, apart from listening to, maybe some top 40 stuff coming from America, I didn't really know how different the sound was in the UK. I think the good thing was that I was young and totally adaptable. So when they said, hey, we've got to change this up, I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it, because I don't know this market here and I don't know what I'm doing. And they quickly linked me in with some remixes. So from Steve Kelly and onwards from there, it was just good to get that little bit of a club feel. And we had Danny D working on our stuff in the UK, and it was really good. And I guess it was very liberating to be out of Australia, living, not at my parents' house, and, experiencing the world and having no baggage.
The video for This Is It was shot in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your ex in the video, of course, Julie McMahon.
Yes.
But filming that video, they're like heaps of fun. Just with the whole beach balls.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, these days they create beach scenes in studios and stuff, but back in those days you flew around the world to do video clips. So from London, so I'm from Australia thinking, wow, in London there's great places here, and in London they're like, let's go to America, and I'm like, cool, I'll just keep jumping on planes and going around the world. And captured that sunshine and that fun, and it was a great song. I remember the record company MCA bringing that to me, saying, we really think this would be a good song for you to cover. I didn't know the original song at that time that they played it to me, so I was like, I like it. I don't know if it's my kind of song, because it was such a departure from what I had been doing, which was the American-based stuff.
Yeah.
But It worked. It worked.
My special guest in studio this morning is Dannii Minogue. And let's play that song from the second album, Get Into You. This is it.
This is it. This time I know it's a real thing, and I can't explain what I'm feeling. I'm lost for words, I'm in a daze, stunned and amazed by your open ways. This is it. This time, yeah.
I remember when I first saw the video for All I Want to Do from the Girl album, and I was just going, oh my God.
Did you want to be me?
She's blonde.
Like the blonde hair.
She's gorgeous. The girls were out. The fabulous, the pink phone, the cat.
It was as Baywatch as I could get.
It was fabulous. And that song was, I mean, I was in New Zealand at the time, but we got MTV UK in New Zealand. So I got to see all those early videos and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot in it, MTV
Yeah,
back
you're
then.
doing some presenting and stuff. But
Yeah.
that whole period was like a different person, because you've come through so much since, I guess, your second album. And this album you're working with Brian Rawlings from Metro, who years later, again in the name, you're sort of way before your time, but of course had that big number one with Share with Believe, but you were with him first on that whole album. And it's such a cool album, and a lot of fans love that album. It's a bit of a fan favourite.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to work with Brian, and he was just starting out. So All I Want to Do was his first, big single release, and I guess set the tone for where he was going to go and define what he wanted to be. And I mean, he's just gone on to have like a mega factory of pop hits. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I've been on the forefront, because I don't really like to always do what's around. I want to do something that's just coming from inside of me, and it's a bit of vintage inspiration, and then also something new, and trusting working with the people that I'm working with and letting them have input as well.
Exactly. Now, the video for All I Want to Do, that was shot in London, obviously.
Yes.
Tell us about the shoot, Dannii. Just tell us what happened. Was it a particular, what you were going for? Was it, do you know what I mean? Like, did you, okay, today I'm going to do me and the cat and the phone, and next day what's going to be?
The basis for the video, which I think might have escaped you, you just saw the hair and the cat and the phone. All I Want to Touch You. So it was the start of people communicating by email. So when I first left to go overseas, all you had were phones in hotel rooms with reverse charged calls. That's the only communication I had. Then there were faxes that came in that sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. Sometimes it took 2 minutes to even get to the point where you found like it wasn't going to work. And then it was computers and emails, and technology has always been my thing that I want to stay ahead of. So I'd explained to the record company I really want to have a computer screen in this and touch my hand on the screen, and it's sending the message through the screen. This was before touchscreen computers ever invented, talked about anything. Wow. So I wanted a flat screen computer, pretty much like what we're looking at in the studio here. And the record company told me, no, we can't have that in the video. It has to be a square brick of a computer monitor because nobody will understand what it is. And I said, I don't mind if they don't understand right now. It's what's coming. It's what's the future. And this is how people are going to communicate. And I would like to be one of the first videos to show that. And so it was a push and pull, and I think I got halfway to where I wanted to be in the video. Oh. And of course, sex sells, get your tits out, roll around on the bed, and the rest is history.
Now, obviously, you've had so many hits. You Won't Forget About Me, Perfection, So Under Pressure, He's the Greatest Dancer. So many great tunes. And I guess we should know what's coming up next, music-wise, for you. Because there's been a few sort of dabblings over the last few years. You've done a Christmas song with Ronan Keating. You've done a Disney song for We Love Disney 2014.
Because we do. We love Disney.
Yeah, I love Disney. You did Summer of Love last year for Mardi Gras. And, of course, with Kylie, 100 Degrees last year. So when can we expect some...
I actually forget about all these, bits and bobs that I've done.
We don't, darling. But when can we expect... And you're working on some stuff at the moment, but when can we expect some new music?
Well, I'm in the studio and have a lot of band practice coming up for the gig that I'm doing with Culture Club at Rod Laver. My musical director's coming out from London, so hopefully we'll have time to play around a bit more on these new tracks. But there's one brand new song that I'm going to do at that gig that's never been performed anywhere.
I guess what's the direction of the new songs? How is it shaping up? Is it going to be...
There's...
Do you know what I mean? That you can...
I think my groove is pop dance.
Yeah.
That's my groove. And then it's nice to stray away from that sometimes and explore some other stuff. Whether everyone loves it or not is a different thing, but I recorded some ballads, which I haven't had the opportunity to do before, and there's some cool collab things that I'm talking about at the moment. There's a lot. It all happens behind the scenes, and even like my bestest friends are like, what's going on? And they don't know. I guess I want to feel like I'm really there. The time is right.
Are you doing it independent? You're doing it...
Yes.
Yeah, which is really cool because there's so much creativity and you can do your own thing and you get really involved with the production and the songwriting and you love doing that stuff, right?
I do. And there's nothing wrong with the big, commercial record companies as well. There's pros and cons to doing it either way. I guess with the doing it on your own, there's a lot of artists that are starting out that don't have any other choice. And then if something, takes off, then they're in a great position because they've created the whole thing. For someone like me that's been around for a long time, I kind of know the business because I've taken time to really get to know what is happening inside the offices of the record company, not just what's happening while I'm out doing promo or the sales. I like the business side of it. So you can't do everything and you can't be everything. So having an idea but then, really making it come to fruition is just like putting the right team together. And I've got friends that I've worked with over the years that are want to get on board and be in a nice tight team with me, and we're going to do some stuff and just do it because we love it and enjoy it and see what happens, which is pretty much like a fresh new artist. And I like that freedom to just feel like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If it takes off, it takes off. There's no pressure for me.
Now, Dan, before the show, I asked you to choose some favourite songs of yours, and you chose Meghan Trainor.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I do a car dance to this, okay? So when it comes on, I'm in the car, and there's this little shake of my finger and then like a little hand flick. So if you want to play it now, I can do the dance for you.
What? With the Meghan Trainor track, you're in the car, you're doing this routine. What does little Ethan say? Mummy, you're going crazy. What's happening?
He likes doing the dance routine with me. He loves that song. That's like our little mum-son song at the moment, because any mums listening will know this. What you're constantly saying to kids is, no, don't touch that. No, don't do that. No, so he just laughs his head off when he sings this to me.
Friday morning show with Leo. That was Meghan Trainor with No. Now, Dannii will teach me the moves in the break.
Then you're going to have to pass it on, teach it to everyone else.
Get our photographer and she can film you doing it, which is going to be hysterical.
Yes.
Your mum, in your life, you've done so much in your life, but that's your number one priority is being a mum. Mm-hmm. And when you had Ethan, around the same time, my best friend Michelle had her first son, Brody. And it was such I can't explain it. It was such a cool moment for her. She never dreamed about becoming a mum, and she just loves it. And there was a funny story, actually, I should tell you. Brody was really into Dora the Explorer. He wanted a Dora Explorer bag, and Michelle's partner said, oh no, he needs to get the other one.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah. Then there was a picture of Ethan with the Dora Explorer suitcase.
I sent it through to Michelle, and she goes, look, it's okay. Ethan's got a Dora bag. It's fine.
this is where the world is changing and
Yeah.
evolving, and it's so exciting to be part of this movement where women are important, are heard, are in positions of power and controlling. And you know, as a kid, you don't want to grow up and just see TV shows where it's Ben 10 and the guys are ruling the place and they're all superheroes and they're dudes walking around. There's got to be some girls that are cool and smart and intelligent, and Dora is smart and really intelligent. Like, she speaks every language on the planet, by the way. You can buy her DVD in every language.
Frustrating.
She's so cool. And it's great and very important for young boys to see girls and women like this. And all kids love that show. And so it's, you know, just evening out the, you know, gender equality. And I think Dora is leading the way. And as a mum, I'm so proud to see her do that and follow it and support her and buy Dora products. I'm like, yes. In fact, that bag would belong to friends of mine. Two girls who were growing up, and they'd grown out of it, and Ethan loved it. He wanted it, so he asked them, you know, can I have this bag? And they kindly gave it to him.
Aww.
So it was just really beautiful to see this, you know, being passed on. And I'm so happy you told me the story.
Yeah, she was really sort of like, look, doll. When I was a kid, I was playing with dolls, and I'm fine. Like, you know. So, but for kids, you know, and I guess Ethan's turning 6 next month.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's at that stage where he's got his own little personality is developing, and it must be such a cool moment for you as a mum to see that and to expect, oh my God, he's so tall.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a picture of you online somewhere, and you're trying to carry this.
I've been trying to carry him since he was 2 years old.
I know. And
I actually can't
taken after his
pick him
dad,
up.
obviously, in that
yes,
regard.
it's not the Minogue gene.
Does he sort of have the musical inklings, or is it more of a sporty so far, do you think?
He loves a bit of both. Like, his dad teaches him golf, and he's got a mean golf swing. He's just started at Auskick because all the cool kids at school do it, and he loves hanging out with them and playing. But he loves music, loves the radio. He really likes a pop and R&B. That's his thing, and, you know, kind of pop rap, and you know, I obviously have to make sure I've got the censored versions of everything. Yes, that's quite tricky. Yes, and he loves comedy. He used to come to X Factor a lot because when we were filming up in Sydney, we'd have to relocate up there. So he hadn't started school yet, so he could come to the studio and hang out. And we have this guy, Dave Eastgate, who does our studio warm-up, and he's just a master of controlling an audience of people and the funniest guy around. And Ethan looks up to him so much. And I think out of anything, he probably wants to be a comedian.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. There
Yes.
you go. Ethan Minogue Smith?
Ethan Edward Minogue Smith.
There you go. Comedian.
Yes.
Here first. Next week is a big show supporting Culture Club. Now,
Yes.
if you meet Boy George, I've been a fan of his for so long.
Since
And
when?
Since I was a kid. My mum made me, this is back in the 80s, made me a pillow slip, and she got these craft pens you can write on fabric, and she traced Boy George on the pillowcase.
Oh my God,
and
that's
I
adorable.
can't find it, but I used to go to bed every night lying on Boy George.
Oh my goodness, go Mum. I'm so proud she
lovely
did
mum.
that. Because you know what, I was just Googling stuff, getting excited about, you know, the show and the band coming out, and it was amazing because in the 80s, as a kid, I loved the music and I loved the band and I loved what they wore, and I didn't see what else was going on. But, you know, when you read articles now and George says, you know, we were the first multiracial pop band, you go, oh, wow, that's groundbreaking. And he was like, and I was, you know, openly gay, and I wore high heels and makeup, and it, just like it was normal, and everybody accepted him. And I think it's the thing I was saying before, you put barriers up in your head, and then other people will put them up as well. They'll mirror and mimic what you do. And he didn't have any barriers up.
Yeah.
Like he and the band were such trailblazers, and I was kind of blissfully unaware of, I guess, all of everything that they had to go through back then. I just loved them. There was kind of like this sparkle and shine that emanated from them that I was drawn to.
You must be excited to do the show with them, supporting them on.
I am.
In Melbourne, your
God knows
hometown.
what's going to happen backstage. Look, he says that he's a good boy now and he's under control. He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, but he likes baking bread. So they'll
Ooh.
who knows what's going to happen backstage.
Fantastic.
It's going to be carb loading.
Favourite Culture Club song?
Karma Chameleon, I guess, is the biggest hit,
Yeah.
and it never fails to make me smile and make me feel so happy.
It may not happen, but would you like to do a song with them on stage next Friday night?
I don't think it will happen because they're already on tour when they get here. I'm sound checking, then they'll sound check, and then we're literally on stage. So
Okay.
don't get too excited. I don't think it will happen, but it might happen backstage.
What you should do is just storm the stage. Just say, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love that.
Now, to prepare yourself for that huge performance on the Friday, there's all this preparation. You're working with a live band. You're making sure things are right in the studio.
Yeah, I've done the live band thing before, but I
yeah.
haven't worked with this band. So all the band work that I did, where we're recreating dance music stuff, which is quite tricky. You've got to get the perfect blend of track and band together to make the room jump. I did all of that over in Europe, and so now we're putting the band together in Australia, Aussie style. So there's, a lot of rehearsing to do.
So some nerves the night before.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of nerves. It's
Yeah.
Rod Laver. It's like,
It's-
it's huge.
Yeah. It's
The next
huge
step up is
night.
a stadium. So
Finally, Dan, I have to say a big shout out to the Dannii Minogue chat group on Facebook. You may know a few of them from the Melbourne crew from a few years
Yes.
ago. Nicole, Ryan, Trent,
Yes.
Troy. They're all on there. And thank you so much for coming in.
thank you.
First of all. And it's been such a great for finding you in studio. Now, let's play. Let's go out with I Begin to Wonder.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Number 2 in the UK. Who was number 1? Who kept you from number 1?
Okay, I was ahead in the sales all week until the last day, and it got overtaken by Christina Aguilera's song Beautiful. Nothing could stop that song, so I did pretty well.
But in hindsight, that's an amazing song. And
Yes.
to be, such a moving song for...
Yes,
yeah.
I wasn't unhappy about
Yeah.
it. Of course, I would have loved a number 1, and maybe that's still in the site somewhere. But yeah, Christina did, I think the world a favour by putting that song out. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. And come and see us again. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Come anytime you like. Spin some tracks. Have a chat. It's all good.
Whoever's across the road, get out on the roof because we can see you right now. We want to have some
Yes.
fun.
Yeah. Good. Well, there were some tradies here the other week, Dan.
Oh,
Yeah, and a lot of them because they were shouting. Guys, I'm actually on trying to do this. And I was like,
they're trying to
Anyway.
distract you.
And I begin to wonder, and
we also had a chat about Dami Im and her X Factor journey. Now, that part of the conversation was saved for another episode, and I couldn't find it. So after much hunting, I have managed to find that audio. So here is a little extra, Dannii Minogue talking about Dami Im and X Factor.
With all of the years of stuff that I'd done, that's why they'd brought me onto X Factor, and it was like, it's for all of the years, it's the body of work, it's the ups, the downs, and dealing with everything that not only goes right, but what goes wrong. And it's such a joy to be able to do that, and especially when you click with someone as well. And I think everybody could see when I was mentoring Dami that
Yes.
there was something special there.
With Dami, you didn't pick her first, did you? She came in because someone brought out, is that right?
Yeah, she wasn't picked in the final 12 where all judges have to be, agreeing on who's going through in the top 12. And they knew that I always liked her. So I don't know, it was like the stars
Aligned.
align. So there was one guy in my group that were coming to judges' homes. We were flying to New York, and he was, having second thoughts about what he wanted to do. And my view was, this career is so consuming, and it's, can make your head spin backwards. You have to absolutely want it, love it, and be prepared to take every punch that is rolled at you. You can't go half-assed. You can't just go, I think I want to do it. He had an incredible voice, like traffic stopping, and so everybody wanted him to go through. But for me, it's the voice, it's the personality, it's the magic, it's what shines on stage. And for me, I'd said from the beginning, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it, or I just don't see what everyone else sees. So in the end, it was getting down to the wire. We needed visas to go, and he was still umming and ahhing. And I said to the producers, I don't get it. I don't even get. There's a lot of good voices around. Don't fight for somebody who's not willing to fight for themselves. And they said, but well, who would put in his place? And I said, 100% right now, without one hesitation, Dami, you've got to call her. She's the one. And it was just amazing. It was so clear to me at that time, and I would never have had that opportunity to choose her because, as I said, when we choose the final 12, it's all 4 judges, and they have to take a mix of what everyone thinks. And then I suddenly, the stars aligned, and this space opened up where I got to call a shot, and it was Dami, and I guess her stars aligned where it was meant to happen. Whether it was going to happen with me choosing her at X Factor, I think it was going to happen somewhere at some time, but it was so nice that did happen. And from there it just rolled. I just adored her, and I guess I was so invested in it working, and she was so invested in it working. She was just like, I know I've got to make this happen. And I think that can be true of a lot of people who not only come from other countries to Australia, and she was saying she had a lot of difficulty in school fitting in, and she didn't speak English yet, and she got picked on because of the way she looked, and there were a lot of things that she was battling. But I find people like that who want it, they'll overcome all of that, and they'll step on it and use it as a stepping block to get where they're going, and that is great energy to work with.
Because that was a dream team, you and Dami on X Factor. And when the live show started and you done all these amazing performances, it was like a blank canvas. There was Dami, there was you as the judge mentor, a lot of experience, and Dami, who didn't really know much, didn't really know what she was doing. I'm here to help you, let's do this together. And it was such a great ride.
Not only did she want to learn, but she was absolutely so quick
Dedicated.
at picking it up, and a perfectionist. So she would rehearse to the point where I would tell her, just, you need to also rest. And this is the continual conversation even before she went to Eurovision, and since coming back I'm like, okay, there's some points where you just got to pull in the balance. You just have to do it.
Don't leave me this way.
This was funny because she, was so out of her comfort zone doing disco music, and I felt like, that's what I've grown up loving and listening to. And Kerry Pinto, who helps all the kids with vocals on the show, he is unbelievably talented, and this kind of vocal is so hard to do, and he is a master at it. So every syllable we broke it down to how to say tsh. It's different in disco music. You got to really you got to get it out. You can't be lazy on anything. And literally, we just worked.
I was so proud of her. I interviewed her the week she won the competition. Such a lovely person. We've met a few times on the red carpet before, as at the hours in Sydney. But such a lovely person, beautiful, and a really nice spirit. And she did us proud in Sweden, honestly.
It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, and she nailed it. She got top. She was like second. She should have won, but second in the whole of... Yeah, you must be so proud of her, watching that home.
I am, and I kind of felt guilty because I was reading everything on social media, and, a lot of people were saying, well, why is Australia in Eurovision? Like, the name gives it away, Eurovision, but, they're making the rules over there. We got invited in, and you got to send your strongest person. So Dami was it, and I felt so not only proud, but in safe hands. I thought, she ain't going to muck this up. She never does.
Now my heart awakes to the sound of silence, and it beats to the sound of silence, and it beats to the sound of silence. Now my heart awakes to the sound of silence, and it beats to the sound of silence, and it beats to the sound of silence.
Dannii and Dami on X Factor, what a winning combination. No surprise that Dami won the competition back in 2013, and since then she has continued to have an amazing career. So I really hope you enjoyed the bonus episode this week of the Sound Museum. If you haven't checked out the Neon Nights episode, make sure you do on your favourite podcast provider. Also, make sure you follow the show on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I love seeing all the comments, likes, and love. Greatly appreciated. Now, make sure you join me for next week's show because we are celebrating another classic album that is turning 20 years old next week. It's one of my favourite albums